Hello everyone. Today I'm gonna present The Birthmark by Nathaniel Hawthorne, and we're gonna be having an analyze of the whole thing. English grade 12, and let's go. So at first we have author's mini biography. He was born in July 4th, 1804 in Salem, Massachusetts. It's known for the themes of sign, guilty, and morality. And if we want to point out like the famous works, we would point out the Scarlet Letter and the House of the Seven Gables, and died on May 19th, AD 64, and leaving a very good legacy in American literature. So we have main characters in slide 3. We have Alimer. He was a brilliant but obsessed scientist. He was pretty much like into the scientific things. We have Georgiana, Alimer's beautiful and devoted wife, and Amanita, Alimer's assistants, represented the earthly and physical. Slide 4 is Alimer. We're gonna analyzed Alimer. So he was perfectionist and idealist, obsessed with removing Georgiana's birthmark, and shows inability to accept human imperfection. And we have Georgiana's character. Georgiana embodies the societal expectation of women during the 19th century. She was loyal and trusting, obviously, and she represents, as I said, like societal expectation, and her acceptance of Alimer's experiments shows her like love and trust in the way that like she can be supportive, support her husband. And slide 6 we have Amanita character. So it represents the physical and earthly, as I said, adding construct Alimer's intellectual pursuits. It symbolizes the balance between physical and spiritual realms. So furthermore, we have the setting of the story. Time is early 19th century, as I point out. Place is primarily in Alimer's laboratory, in his lab, as he's like always into scientific things. And social conditions, it reflects scientific curiosity and experimentation. We have historical background, which shows like romantic area focused on nature, science, and human imperfection. Slide 8, we have story's point of view. So the point of view is third person. It shows, it actually allows insight into like thoughts and motivations of Alimer and Georgiana. And it actually allows the reader to gain insight into the like more into the story. And if you want to convince and actually analyze it and ask why third person, so we would justify it in the way that it provides broad understanding of characters' conflicts, and it conveys themselves effectively, and it can show like Alimer's obsession and Georgiana's internal struggle. We have main conflict. So Alimer's struggle to remove Georgiana's birthmark, one of the main conflict between the science and nature, which like represents the quest for perfection versus acceptance of human imperfection. So analysis of the conflict. It was like it actually highlights destructive potential of obsessed perfectionism and shows danger of scientific hubris. Alimer's inability to accept human flaws leads to tragic consequences, and the moral lesson that some aspects of nature should remain, like must be remained. So I've got some important quotations. There is a danger in this world for by a list soiling or contaminating touching the whole machinery would be thrown into disorder. So explanation for this quote is like it highlights the theme of human imperfection and dangers of alerting it. And another quote that I got was like, and no desert, Georgiana, you came so nearly perfect from the head nature that is slightest possible defect. It shocks me as being the visible mark of earthly imperfection. So the explanation of this could be like it reveals Almer's obsession with perfection and inability to accept flaws. Third quote we got, as the last Christian Chris, crimson tint of the birthmark, that soul taken of human imperfection, faded from her cheek, the painting birth of now perfect woman passed into the atmosphere. So it shows the tragic outcome of Almer's quest, fatal consequences. And another quote that I got, and I actually found it important, was this quote. So he failed to look beyond the shadow scoop of the time and living once for all eternity to find the perfect future in the present. So it actually can show you like Almer's inability to appreciate the present and human imperfection, which he was actually willing to like find more things and like discover more like new things. And it was last quote, so we got tone and mood. The tone of the remark is pretty much dark. It could be reflective and cautionary. Mood of the story is it could be like suspenseful, like tragic, evoking inevitability and loss, like sense of loss. And so if you want to actually analyze tone of the story, it would be, as I said, tone. It would be, I'm sorry, dark, and highlights the dangers of um like pursuing of perfection, as Elmer was willing to discover new things. Mood analysis, again, tragic mood enhances emotional impact, and it makes the reader feel the weight of characters' choices and impending tragedy. So essential question like, how does the author illustrate the danger of starving for perfection, and what does it suggest about human nature and actually scientific ambition? The answer could be like, pursuit of perfection leads to destructive outcomes. So human nature is inherently flawed, and attempting to eradicate imperfections can cause greater harm. And at last, it shows like scientific ambition that it actually ignores ethical considerations. Conclusion and reflection. To conclude, we have like we can have summary, which is covered Nathaniel background, author's background, character analysis, the setting, conflict, codes, tone, mode, and essential questions, and the story remains relevant today. It's actually relevant today. It cautions against a reckless pursuit of perfection and highlights ethical implications of scientific advancement. I actually found this short story pretty much different from others, and I liked it, even though it was like different from the other short stories that I had read, but I found it eventually good and useful. Thank you very much for your time and your attention. That's the end.